Hi everyone. Okay, so day two, which is actually day one of doing work with Al Otro Lado today. And let me tell you, it has been a very, very, very long day. So our day started around 5:30 ish. We had to get up early because we volunteered to go to the border to Chaparral. So it's one of the entry points. The reason we volunteered to do this is because we wanted to um, hear the names and hear the numbers that are being called out at the border. So for many of you that don't know or aren't aware of what's going on in the United States and with the asylum laws and all of that, the current administration has put a new policy in place where people who are trying to seek asylum have to pull a number, basically, have to write their names on a list, and they're given a number, and then every day they have to check to see if their number gets called. This is called the MPP program, the Mexico Place program. I'm sorry, I'm really terrible, but I know it's MPP. We've all just been using MPP. So what we've learned so far is that each number has a slot of 10 names. So every number that they call, essentially calling 10 people at a time, and it's very hectic. First of all, it's really hectic because it's very early in the morning. We never know, or I guess the people never know what number is going to be called. It's not like a really strict list or anything like that. Basically, they go through one side of the wall or one side of the line, and they ask Mexican ICE to put their name on the list. They put their name on the list. They're saying they're trying to seek asylum or they're trying to enter the border, enter the United States to seek asylum. They get a number, and the number is like in a little piece of paper, and then they leave. So that's one side. Those that already have numbers are on another side of a line, and they're waiting for their numbers to be called. And the current wait time for a number to be called is anywhere from 4 to 6 months. So the people that are in line, or that were in line today, their numbers are going to be called between today and tomorrow. So generally they have all their luggage with them, they're ready to go, they're just waiting, and they're there like very early in the morning, just because they don't want to miss their numbers being called. When their number gets called, they, go in the line, or through the fence, basically, and then the ICE takes their belongings for now, puts them in the back of a truck, and takes them or transports all of the numbers that were called and puts them in a van and takes them to where they're supposed to get their credible fear interview. But that doesn't always happen. What generally happens is that they take these people, have their numbers get called, and they put them in something called the guillera, or the icebox. And they have them wait there for... Something's going on. I'm currently outside because it's like really nice out. So let's wait. Okay. So they get transported to the guillera, the icebox, and they have to wait anywhere from a few hours to, unfortunately, a few days to a few weeks. And in this icebox, what we believe is going on is a lot of human rights violation, a lot of family separation, and just a lot of issues that you can't even imagine. But it is one of the first steps that these people have to go through in order to try to get either a credible fear interview or their chance before some type of U.S. immigration officer. So basically that's what we were doing this morning. The organization AOL, or Al Otro Lado, what they do is they do outreach programs. So they tell the people who are either getting new numbers or still waiting for the numbers to be called, like, hey, come to our organization, that it's literally around the corner. will give you some information that you should know before you go through this process. And if you have any questions, you can ask us. There's free legal services and there's attorneys available. So that's basically what we were doing. And then we also want to keep count of the number that was called, the last number that was called, and then the last number that was given out to anybody that's there. So we were there fairly early, as I mentioned, around, I think we got there like 6:45 a.m. It's a really short walk, it's not too bad. We got there and, we were getting the rundown of how to approach people, and it's kind of awkward at first because you're trying to go to these people and like tell them like, hey, how are you? Do you need any help? And it's a kind of an awkward situation, and it's just very weird. I mean, this whole list idea is very strange that is being implemented. What I also found out is that these list managers are other asylum seekers or people just waiting to cross the border. So Mexican ICE, who is essentially run by CBP, gets told, hey, we're going to need a few numbers. These are the numbers that we're going to call out. Let the people know. So the Mexican ICE looks for volunteers who are going to be like list managers and crowd managers, and there are other asylum seekers. And they tell them, if you help with the crowd control for the next 2 weeks, 3 weeks, you can skip the line and you can go right in with your family, but you're not going to get paid. So they're working, but they're not getting paid. Their payment is essentially going in through the border with their families if they have families, and just, skipping that whole process. So it's a good deal, right? But on the other hand, it can also put them at risk, because if they don't let certain people in, or, they're just like a middleman. So if, for example, somebody really is trying to get in and they're not allowed to come in, they're going to probably blame these list manager people, because they're the ones out there. They're the ones calling out the names. And the whole calling out the name process is a disaster. You cannot hear a single thing. Like, it's really terrible how they do that. But, we got to witness that. We got to tell people, like, of our organization, of they can come out and if they have questions and things like that. So it was very eye-opening, and it was very sad. A lot of these families, you could just see it in their face. They're just tired and they're drained, and it looks like they're about to give up, because I could just imagine traveling from wherever they're coming from to then be put here and wait on a list. And then even this list that they get to be placed on, it just allows them to go into the United States, maybe get a credible fear interview, maybe not, and then maybe be subjected to be returned back to Mexico and wait for the whole asylum trial here in Mexico. And we actually did witness a lot of people who were in the MVP program who were returned back to Mexico and are just waiting for their asylum hearings. It's very bizarre and it's crazy, and I don't think it's going very well. Today, the last number that was given out was 3,226, and that's the last number that was called. 3,226 was the last number that was actually called. The last number that was given out was 3,400 and something. So if you can only imagine just how many people, since the administration has implemented this list in the summer, have gone through this program, it is incredible, and it is such a backlog, and it's not efficient whatsoever. But anyways, the only good thing about this morning's border intake or border outreach, whatever you may call it, was that there were other organizations out there that were American, and they were there giving sandwiches or milk, treats for little kids, crayons, and they were just trying to make it a more positive environment, even though it was absolutely dreadful for a lot of people there. So that was very nice to see that it's a lot of people are willing to help and want to help, and they're doing it. So that's very inspiring. But then after that, it was the workshops. So we had to go back, and everybody was assigned workshops. So of course, as an attorney, I was one of the credible fear interviews leads, which means that at the end of the intakes that are taken by the volunteers, I get to decide whether the person has a good asylum case or not. Now, that is it's a very big job. It is what I do every day, but it is, because it's such a different environment and these people are trying to get in, it's like, I don't want to give them false hope. I also don't want to like discourage them or anything. I don't want to like paint a negative picture, but I have to be really realistic with them. And it's very different to do that in this environment because these people are not in the United States. They're not safe. They're still fleeing, or their persecutors are still here in Mexico or have followed them to Mexico. And I'm here telling them, I'm so sorry, you do not have a good case. You don't have any evidence, or in my opinion, your case is a little bit weak, or blah blah blah, whatever it is. And it's a big job. It's a big job, and the other attorneys definitely felt it. We did a lot of intakes today. We did roughly 31 intakes in like a few hours, which is a lot. I mean, there's not that many volunteers, definitely not that many attorneys. There's only 5 of us, so 5 of us had to go through all those 31 in the morning, and then the other extra random questions and problems that come up. So it was a very long day. We heard a lot of different stories, and you know, it's really difficult to explain what we all heard and you know how these people's mental state is at this point, because unless you're here, unless you're experiencing it, you just won't understand. But a lot of these people are definitely survivors. They're survivors of the most horrible thing that could have ever happened to them, and they're still here standing strong and still fighting for their lives. That's all they're doing. They're just fighting for their lives. And if I was in their position, I would do the exact same thing. So it was not eye-opening because I know that this is what's going on, but it definitely was very humbling to just know that people out here have it, or people in different places have it much, much worse than my little problems. And it just also reminds me that the work that I am doing and the work that my other fellow immigration attorneys are doing, you know, we are like the only lifesaver that a lot of these people have, and we need more. We definitely need more immigration attorneys. But yeah, I mean, basically, without giving more details about what I heard, which I cannot, that is what we did today. I guess one other great, funny highlight to my day was that there were a lot of children, and you know, I love kids. They're super cute. And I had this little girl. Her name was Sarai. She was so adorable. She was 2 years old, but she was like a little like con artist. She was like sneaking through the walls that we had protected for the kids so that they wouldn't leave the little play area. She was dragging me to give her some water, or like just grabbing my attention. And I didn't see her for a little bit, right? So I was a little busy. She was out playing, you know, causing craziness, madness in her little area. And then I just happened to see her again by the computers, and she kind of just looks at me, and she just like runs towards me and gives me like the biggest hug. And I kind of wasn't expecting it. I was like, oh my god, hi, like, yes, how are you? You know, she's so cute. And you know, kids, they just break my heart because they have no idea what's going on. They have no idea what is about to happen to them. You know, they're just so innocent. And these parents, these fathers, these mothers, they're really fighting for their children just to have a better life and a better opportunity. And you know, we should not close our doors to that. We want people like that. But that was it. That's basically my first full day. I'm going to go back to Chaparral, the border, in the morning. I think it's a little bit hard for people to get up that early, which I completely understand. But I really like it. I really enjoy it. And I'm learning a lot. And I just want to keep seeing and just talk to people and see what's going on, how they feel, you know, get a feel for everything. So I'll be doing that in the morning again. We're going to do some more intakes, and we're going to do some more evaluations of cases, and I think it's going well so far. It's very exhausting. I'm pretty tired, but I just get some good rest and I'll be ready to go tomorrow. So I will talk to you guys tomorrow, and hopefully more great things happen and, helping out more people. So thank you. Bye.